What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. India was interesting. I think oftentimes, especially in Western societies, when you think of India or you look at social media posts about India, they do India pretty dirty. It doesn't really give the true essence of what India is and what India has to offer, which is part of the reason why I want to make this video. As someone who grew up in the United States, I haven't been back to India in so long. And in fact, I used to go back every few years, but then over time, it ended up being more than 6 years, then 10 years. I had so many ideas planned for when I was in India that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna shoot this concept for you guys, but I didn't bring my camera on purpose. I wanted to spend quality time with my friends and family away from the cameras and away from the noise, and truly just be in the moment and be there for my friends and family. About a week before we went on this trip, I lost my dog. And my dog was super important to me and my family, and to lose him was a huge loss on us, and we really took it hard. So that, in culmination of wanting to spend quality time with my family, was the reason why I didn't bring my camera. So I hope you guys can understand that. Honestly, that trip just meant so much to me, and I brought back so many morals and values that I did not know that I was gonna bring back. So I wanted to make this video to compile a few of the observations that I noticed when I was in India that I think would help every single person out. And I wanna show a little bit more of a positive outlook to India that's probably not shown in public media right now. The first thing I noticed, and this was actually the thing that I noticed the most, was people were just so chill. And what I mean by that is I noticed that people just didn't hold grudges or get angry or upset at little things. In Western societies, especially in the US, it's more common for people to hold grudges.
I will find you and I will kill you.
And kind of feel this sort of sense of entitlement. But in India, that was not the case. I remember so many experiences of when I was with my friends and family and a minor inconvenience would happen and people would just move on from that. So when I was in Mumbai, I was in an Uber, and while we were driving, a car came and lightly nicked the side of the car that I was in. In my head, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be insane, because in the US, if that happened, it would be such a big thing. You call the insurance company, you call the police, and it'd be a whole ordeal.
What is your problem, man? Do you know how to fucking drive? No.
I just fully expected them to get out of the car and beat each other up, because I was like, this is gonna be insane. But what ended up happening was my Uber driver rolled down the window, and so did this other guy, and they kind of bickered a little bit, and pretty much in Hindi, the Uber driver said, "You think your grandma owns this street, huh?" And they both started laughing about it, and he just said, "Just be careful next time." They moved on and life was happy. I was so confused because I was like, what? This guy's right-hand mirror is literally chipped now, and like I said, in the US, it would be a completely different story. So actually being able to observe that positive attitude, especially when you're faced with adversary or something of inconvenience, was a huge eye-opener for me, because this is something that I'm just not used to seeing. And this is one of the many experiences that happened that were very similar to this, where people would just let go and move on. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what, this is definitely something that I do want to bring back and incorporate within my lifestyle, just to let go and focus on the positive things and not let little minor inconveniences tilt you one way or another. The second thing I noticed was no matter what age you are hustling. I'm talking when you're 5 years old to 80+ years old, you're always busy. Now, growing up in the US, especially living in a big city like Los Angeles, I do see hustlers all the time. Everyone's working, everyone's grinding, everyone's trying to accomplish something. But in India, it hit different. I'm walking down the street and I'm seeing 5-year-olds cutting bread. I'm seeing 10-year-olds making juice. It was such an intertwined community of all age ranges working that I was like, wait, what? A literal 8-year-old kid was serving me food and talking like an adult back and forth with me. I spent a lot of time talking to these kids who are working in these shops, and I actually learned a ton from them. Specifically, that they were super street smart and knew exactly how to talk to tourists versus locals. Now, I heard stories of kids being oppressed in India with forced into the workplace. But a lot of these kids who are local to where I live are friends of ours. And so they were just really just enjoyed working. That was just something that they loved to do, which I found super inspiring. They're doing a hell of a lot more than I was doing when I was 5 years old. But on the other side, elderly people in India were so busy and working so hard and constantly keeping their day so busy. Both of my grandmothers are 80+ years old. And every single day that I was with them, not a day went by where they did not do something. They were cooking every single day. They were doing laundry every single day. They were taking phone calls every single day. They were moving around, exercising, drinking juices. It was so inspiring, because I was like, you know what? Why am I, as a 27-year-old, being so lazy and not going to the gym, not doing what I want to do? It broke so many mental barriers in my brain about what's actually possible. And no matter how old you are, you could always accomplish what you want to accomplish. The third thing I noticed was just a genuine sense of care for the community. I actually went to a farmer's market with my dad and we were trying to find vegetables to cook. We were talking to this one vendor who had different strains of spinach, which by the way, I had no idea that there was like 5+ strains of spinach. I thought there was like one spinach or one mango, but nope, there's like literally 5 to 10 different strands, which that was like a complete mind-blowing experience for me. But we were talking to this guy and like he seemed so enthusiastic that we were from abroad and that my dad used to live around the area and he's coming back and visiting. He said he has like a really good strain of spinach. There's only like one left and he actually gave it to us for free or like heavily discounted. It was just such a heartwarming experience for me because no matter like, even though this guy was like selling these vegetables and probably not making that much money, he still gave us such a good deal on these vegetables and all he wanted was for us to try his stuff. Additionally, the service industry in India was so mind-blowing. Like no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, there's always someone there to help you and they're gonna give it 110% to make sure that you are happy. We went to several different sari shops for my grandma and my mom, and no matter what, like there was always someone there guiding us through the process, helping us pick out clothes, taking it out from this top and like laying it out on like the table. And keep in mind, these things are actually very hard to put down and fold back up. I actually tried doing it just to help out and it was like a miserable experience. Comparing it to Western societies like the US, never will that happen. I'll walk into 100 million stores and I'll point at something and they'll be like, yeah, this is like the same as this thing that you're holding here. I'm not gonna pull that out from the top. But it just goes to show no matter who you are, what you're doing, always give it your all. Treat people with the utmost amount of respect. Treat your items with the utmost amount of respect and really care about the things that are around you. Everything from service to food to work, really try to care about the things that you're doing and I think you'll live a happier life. The fourth and final thing that I want to talk about is the general sense of gratitude and contentment. And I've heard this a lot with people like Bob Marley who say like,
position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
The true riches are the people around you and the experiences that you have. But I really got to see that in India when people would be just so happy about the smallest things, like going on a walk outside after dinner. That was something that I started looking forward to after every single meal. Literally, once we finished eating, go outside for a walk around the neighborhood and just get a general sense of being with the people around you. No matter what it was, everyone just felt so chill and relaxed with the situation that they had, and you just generally felt a sense of peace and comfort. Now in the US, you sometimes feel that, but because it's a capitalistic society, oftentimes we're taught to work, so you don't really feel the same level of comfort. You always want to level up, and that's sort of the mentality in the US. Not to say that that doesn't exist in India, but overall, you just feel it less than if you were in the US. And it impacted my life so much when I was there. Like I had some of the best sleep ever when I was in India than in my entire life. And even when it comes to seeing and greeting guests or inviting people to your home, it's such a big deal. I remember going to my uncle's house. They stopped their whole day just to literally greet us, cook for us, and really spend time with us. It's so common in India to be present with the people around you. This is definitely something that I want to intertwine with my life, and spending time with the people around me and nurturing the relationships that I have in a very authentic way. So overall, my trip to India was truly incredible. I made a lot of amazing memories and met a lot of amazing people. I just learned so much about how societies operate and just like how people live, and it just impacted me in such a strong way. So I'm so glad that I'm able to share this with you, and hopefully you found some value into this, especially if you've never been to India. If you have not been to India, I highly recommend putting it on your bucket list at some point in time in your life. It will truly change your mind. I'm lucky to be well-traveled, going to places like Europe, Australia, and even obviously India. No other place quite compares to the level of spirituality that India has to offer. Truly, from the second you step foot out the airport to meeting your first person ever in India, you would just feel a general sense of spirituality and peace within yourself that I just can't describe. You just kind of have to go there and figure it out yourself. And for those of you who are first generation, just like myself, just make sure to not lose your cultural charm. There's something truly beautiful about being Indian, so make sure you hold that close to your chest and continue moving forward. I know this video is super deep and not like my other videos that I've made, but I really just wanted to share these messages and learnings with you just because I feel like it would be helpful. But that being said, new videos on the way, so hold me accountable and please comment down below for any videos that you want to see me make. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Peace, y'all.
I can't help that I miss you now.